Hey guys, good morning. First time I make a video walking and talking, which is actually one of my favorite ways to do it. But a lot of life changes, small ones, and daily schedule changes that have occurred, that have changed the times that I make my video, so forth. But I will say, today's talking about schedules, so it works perfectly, this segue. But yeah, so I was listening to a video from Jordan Peterson, and the video's entitled "Make a Dang Schedule," and he made some points that made so much sense that I wanted to share. And I'll start off by saying I really like schedules, but some of the points help me see some of the ways that schedule may not be great, or the way you look at it. So I'll get there. But I've learned with 2 kids that the best thing you can ever do is have them on a schedule. The most freedom you have is have them on a schedule. I know it sounds like the opposite of freedom, but it isn't. So my children, it's always predictable when they're gonna eat, when they're gonna nap. Honestly, part of the predictability is even the food they're gonna eat. When I breastfeed, everything is literally scheduled. There's an order to things. And then, of course, which if you're a parent, you know the importance of this. Sorry, I'm getting a coffee. If you're a parent, you know the importance of this bedtime routine. But it is literally so much freedom, because I always know what my kids need when they need. And I gotta tell you, they rarely cry. They rarely are have fits, and they behave really well. And I know, other than me being a big disciplinarian, with which I'm sure you guys aren't surprised, no, I'm always meeting their needs. They're not hungry, they're not thirsty, they're not tired. I'm always meeting their needs, and when their needs met, they don't go nuts. And there's a comfort to knowing what's going to happen next, instead of being, spontaneous to the degree where they don't know when they're going to eat. They don't know when they're going to go to the bathroom. I mean, even when my son goes to the bathroom, it's every 2 hours, which is usually in between wake up and his nap, and in between nap and his nighttime. He'll go once in between them, and of course right before nap, right before bed. But I mean, even that is pretty much around a similar time every day. But anyway, I just want to share that, because there are restrictions with my schedule, because I have to, tend to the kids and make sure they can get their nap or whatever. But there's so much more freedom in it. There's so much more joy during the wake times. Okay, so getting into the Jordan Peterson thing. He says, make a dang schedule. And he said, a schedule is not a prison. And I was like, okay, it's freedom. And I'm like, what? And that's exactly how I feel, obviously, as you hear right now about my kids and myself. That now, because, and by the way, I'm not naturally a schedule person or super organized. Sorry, my finger's in the way. Or super organized. And, okay. Anyway, that's not my natural state. So, like, I got really hyper crazy with the schedule with my kids. And, and I see the value in it. And now that I have kids and I'm so busy all day, I have to schedule my stuff. The gym time, the wake up time, when I make these videos, when I post these videos, when I make breakfast, when I clean. I mean, everything literally has to be thought through of when I can do them, versus leaving them up to chance. If you leave anything up to chance, nothing gets done. Hello. And that's part of it too. Part of it that Jordan Peterson was describing is kind of hating yourself, and a lot of people don't like themselves very much. Like, they would give medicine to their dog. Statistically, humans in America give medicine to their dog administer it properly more often than they take their own medicine that their doctor prescribed. And he was talking about people who need organ transplants, not somebody saying, oh, just my blood pressure medicine. Like, there's that medicine that you need so that you don't reject the organ. And people who waited for months to years for an organ then have a complication because they just didn't take the medicine as prescribed or at all to not reject it when they were going to undergo the surgery. That sounds insane, right? Well, that's a little bit of the root of how we feel about ourselves versus others and other things. And part of the reason why we don't set a vision for the future is willful blindness, he called. So if you are willfully blind, you don't fail. Anyway, so and what do I tell you? What do you want in your life? What do you want in your future, you know? And then don't let fear get in the way, or don't let the world defines it get in the way. And that's where you have to look internally and say, what do I really want? Am I afraid to want good things for myself? Anyway, so he talks about a schedule's not a prison. And he talks about that don't negotiate with yourself. Don't be tyrannical. That was a good point for me, because I can write out my day, and my day will be like, sorry, I need some coffee today. My day will be like a million things I need to do, and if I don't do all these things, I failed. Because, as you know, I shoot for the moon. I'd be a little crazy, a little exaggerated, but that's just who I am. And I will bring myself down by not meeting this crazy standard I set for myself. And that was good. That was good. Negotiate with yourself. And then he wrote the ratio between responsibility and reward. So, for example, if tomorrow you say, if I spend an hour on this, then I can go to lunch with my friend, right? But kind of identifying the percent of your day that you're going to spend on things that you have to do, like work, which we all know people go to work for 8 hours a day, but they don't work for 8 hours a day, right? And I mean, I guess the only people who really work for like 8 hours a day will be like somebody at a factory that is on the floor for 7.5 hours and only gets their 30-minute break, or whatever the laws are around that. But people don't actually do working, especially mentally now with social media and distracting ourselves all day, for any long length of time. Productivity, there's a word. You're working, but you're not being productive. And he talked about percentages of responsibility, percentage of reward. And then he said, what percentage of your responsibility did you complete? Did you do 50% of your responsibility? And he goes, 50% is a heck of a lot better than zero. 50% for the next 10 years, you're going to be somewhere versus nowhere forever. And that was a good way to look at it. Not to give yourself outs, but it's like, yo, if you went from, you weren't accomplishing the task you set out and you accomplished some of it, well, that's a start. So all that mentality is helping you to continue on or set realistic goals. If you try your best and you always hit 50, 60, 70% of what you set out to do, then you need to pull back. And that's something that I make mistakes in, where I set too much to do. I used to set appointments and multiple dates in a day, like things to do, and I'd have to get the kids ready and and all the things, and have to prep before and I go to the gym before. And I mean, I could go down the list, like just to give you a picture of our typical Sunday mornings. So yesterday, it's literally going, I wake up in the morning, and if I get enough chance, I go to the gym. And then after that, I come home, I clean the kitchen, and I make breakfast. Once I make breakfast, and this is our special breakfast that we eat as a family, making it like a tradition. Again, knowing what to expect. It's so sweet. My kid Joden, because Riley doesn't get it all the way yet. Loves it because Daddy sits with us. We do it together, because what happens during the week? When they wake up, I'm back from the gym. I made them breakfast. Daddy's at the gym, because that's just how, you know, the whole parent life is like, unless you have like a full-time nanny. One day we may get there, and then I could go to the gym with my husband. First, we got to get out of debt. But anyway, so then I make breakfast. We eat together. Super sweet. Oh, and I typically shower some point before, because then I won't have any time. Once I get them up, we eat breakfast, and then I get them ready. We leave for church. We go to church, and then my daughter has to take a nap at church. So I set her up. I bring everything I need, even a little sound machine that I put real low as a trigger to say, hey, it's time to sleep. Set her up, put her to nap. And then right after church, when my daughter wakes up, whatever, it's time to eat for the kids again. And then my son goes to nap when we get home. But anyway, you know, that's a typical Sunday morning, literally busy until 1 something. So that's from the moment I wake up. So like if I add, then we're going to go here, then we're going to go there, then I can meet you at X time. Yeah, it's like too much to do. I used to be crazy and add things and add things and add things. And not be, and be late, because it's not realistic, not make it, you know. And that's just one small example of this particular day, but you're busy literally the first half of the day. Which another commitment, if you really have to do it. But otherwise, go home and rest. It's Sunday. You need to wake up on Monday, like today, and kill it. Which is the whole investing and making the right decisions in yourself for you to win. But anyway, that was the scheduling stuff. Make a schedule for yourself. Start with a big vision, the big goal. What is your vision for your life? What does your future look like? What do you want to attain? Break it down. Break down the steps to get there. Break down the timeline to those steps. And break it all the way down to the daily activities that are going to get you there. You can eat an elephant one bite at a time. That's the truth. It's just the truth. So start. Do it like this. Don't beat yourself up if you don't quite make it on the schedule. If you did some, it's better than none. And if you notice that you are overscheduling stuff and you never make it, bring it down some to something that you can succeed at. Because once you succeed, you will have momentum. We've talked about that too. So anyway, make a dang schedule, people. Don't let your life waste. Don't go through your life literally just going as the waves take you. Let me tell you, if you let the waves take you wherever, people be all with this bohemian YOLO, go with the flow, the universe. I mean, we'll go down the list of all the stuff people say. And also ultimately removing responsibility from themselves to get anything done and to go anywhere. But beyond that, the whole living for today, living to be happy, which Jordan Peterson has funny topics on being happy. You should go listen to them. But like, don't go by where the waves are going to take you, because you're going to be pushed to somewhere you don't want to be. It's just a fact. Have you noticed on beaches or wherever, not like the nice beach, it's always the end, the estancado. I don't know how to say that in English. Estancado is like you know how like there are waterways that drain into like a lake or something, and then the lake drains nowhere, so everything in there gets stuck and stinks. And I mean, I think the Dead Sea is like that, because it's literally everything drains into it, nothing comes out, there's no movement, everything dies. That's a good analogy. But if you've ever noticed, wherever there's piles of trash, seaweed and all that, that's literally what happens. It's literally everything gets carried to this one point and it's gross, full of trash. Is that where you want to be? I don't think so. So I hope that example was helpful. But go make a schedule. Think about your future. What do you want? Break it down into attainable steps over time. Break those steps down into the monthly, weekly, daily tasks you need to get there. You can eat an elephant a bite at a time. And in 10 years, you will have a totally different life. And if you do nothing today, in 10 years, you'll be in the same place. What do you want?